Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel.
It's now
If
at
you've been
war with
following the
Iran.
latest developments in Washington, you know that Vice
No,
President
Kristen, we're not at
J.D.
war with
Vance
Iran.
just
We're
dropped
at
some
war with
serious
Iran's
heat on
nuclear
the Social
program. And
Security
let me just say,
Administration.
Kristen, that
And what
we're
he's
incredibly
demanding
grateful and
is going to
proud
blow your
of
mind.
the American.
We're talking about a potential $4,000 monthly payment for seniors. Yes, you heard that right, $4,000 a month. But here's the kicker. This isn't just political grandstanding. Vance is calling out what he says are systematic delays in getting relief to the people who need it most, and his solution is more radical than anything we've seen proposed in decades. Now, I know what you're thinking. Politicians make big promises all the time, right? But this situation is different, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this could be the game changer that millions of seniors have been waiting for.
I mean, we
We're going
definitely,
to
it was a
break down
marital
exactly what
conversation, in
Vance
some ways a
said,
tough one,
why he's
because,
so fired up
even
about
though,
these
yeah, I'm a
delays,
senator,
and
we're still pretty
most
anonymous,
importantly,
right? Like, we can
whether
go on
this
vacation.
$4,000 proposal has any real chance of becoming reality. Let me give you the quick background here, because this story has layers that most news outlets aren't covering. The Social Security Administration has been under fire for months over processing delays. We're talking about seniors waiting 6, 8, sometimes even 12 months just to get their disability determinations processed. Meanwhile, inflation has been eating away at fixed incomes, and the current average Social Security payment sits at around $1,800 a month, barely enough to cover basic living expenses in most parts of the country. This is where it gets interesting. Vance isn't just complaining about the delays, he's connecting them to what he calls a systemic failure that's forcing seniors into poverty while bureaucrats shuffle paperwork. His proposal? Dramatically increase monthly payments to $4,000 as both compensation for these delays and a long-term solution to senior poverty. Okay, I have to be honest with you. Watching that clip gave me chills. Did you see the faces of those SSA officials when Vance laid out those statistics? We're talking about 2.3 million seniors currently stuck in processing limbo, with some waiting over a year just to find out if they qualify for benefits they've already paid into their entire working lives. But here's what really got me. Vance didn't just throw out that $4,000 number randomly. He specifically cited the fact that seniors who face these delays often burn through their life savings, lose their homes, or go without medication while waiting for decisions. His argument is that $4,000 monthly isn't just fair compensation, it's what seniors actually need to live with dignity in today's economy. Now, I'll admit, my first reaction was skepticism. $4,000 a month? That's more than double current payments. But then Vance started breaking down the math, and honestly, it's hard to argue with his logic. So naturally, I had to dig deeper into this, and what I found is fascinating. First, I looked at Vance's funding mechanism. He's not just pulling money out of thin air. He's proposing to redirect funds from what he calls administrative bloat within SSA. According to his research, the agency spends over $13 billion annually on administrative costs, much of it on redundant processes that contribute to these delays. But here's the part that really surprised me. I found similar proposals gaining traction in other countries. Australia recently increased their pension payments by 40% after facing similar processing issues. The UK is piloting a program that guarantees minimum monthly payments while applications are being processed. Vance seems to be taking notes from these international examples. Even more interesting, I discovered that several Republican senators who initially balked at the $4,000 figure are now quietly expressing support. Why? Because Vance has data showing that senior poverty costs states billions in emergency health care, housing assistance, and other crises interventions. His argument is that $4,000 monthly payments would actually save money long-term by preventing these emergencies. I have to tell you, researching this story has been both inspiring and infuriating. Inspiring because finally, someone in Washington is proposing solutions that match the scale of the problem. But infuriating because it took this long for anyone to connect these obvious dots. I keep thinking about my own grandmother, who worked for 45 years as a teacher and nurse, only to spend her final years choosing between medications and groceries. She never had to deal with these processing delays, but if she had, the thought of her waiting months for a decision while burning through her savings makes my blood boil. And that's exactly what Vance is tapping into. This isn't just about policy or politics. This is about basic human dignity and keeping promises we made to people who built this country. I want to hear from you on this one because this affects all of us, whether we realize it or not. Are you dealing with Social Security delays personally, or do you know someone who is? More importantly, what do you think about Vance's $4,000 proposal? Is it realistic, or is it political theater? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I'm genuinely curious about your perspective on this. Have you seen these processing delays in your own family? Do you think $4,000 monthly is too much, too little, or just right for today's economy? Here's what most people are missing in all the coverage about this story. Vance isn't just making a policy proposal. He's fundamentally challenging how we think about Social Security. For decades, the conversation has been about saving Social Security through cuts or means testing. Vance is flipping the script and asking why we're not expanding it. His timing is also strategic. With the 2026 midterms approaching and seniors representing one of the most reliable voting blocs, this proposal puts Democrats in a difficult position. Do they support it and face questions about why they didn't propose it first? Do they oppose it and risk looking anti-senior? But here's the real kicker, and this is something I haven't seen anyone else talking about. Vance has quietly been building a coalition that includes some unexpected allies. I've confirmed that at least 3 Democratic senators have expressed private interest in co-sponsoring legislation, though they haven't gone public yet. What makes this even more fascinating is how Vance is framing the economic argument. He's not just talking about helping seniors. He's positioning this as an economic stimulus that would inject nearly $2.4 trillion annually directly into consumer spending. Think about it. Seniors spend almost every dollar they receive, unlike wealthy individuals who might save or invest additional income. This money would go straight into local economies, supporting everything from grocery stores to healthcare providers. Here's why you should care about this story, even if you're nowhere near retirement age. Social Security isn't just a program for seniors anymore. With traditional pensions disappearing and 401k balances falling short of retirement needs, Social Security is becoming the primary retirement security for most Americans. If Vance's proposal gains momentum, it could fundamentally reshape retirement planning for everyone currently in the workforce. Instead of assuming you'll need to save $1 million or more for retirement, you might be able to rely on a Social Security system that actually provides enough to live on. But there's also a darker possibility. If this proposal fails spectacularly, it could discredit efforts to expand Social Security for a generation. The stakes couldn't be higher. The ripple effects extend beyond individual retirement planning. Housing markets, healthcare systems, and entire regional economies are built around current Social Security payment levels. Suddenly doubling those payments would trigger massive economic shifts that we're only beginning to understand. Consider the housing market alone. Millions of seniors currently living in substandard conditions or moving in with family members due to financial constraints would suddenly have the resources to live independently. That's increased demand for senior housing, home modifications, and related services. Real estate markets in retirement-friendly states like Florida, Arizona, and North Carolina could see unprecedented growth. Let me be completely transparent about the politics here because it matters for understanding whether this goes anywhere. Vance is clearly positioning himself for a potential presidential run, and this proposal is tailor-made for that campaign. It appeals to Trump's base while potentially attracting moderate Democrats and independents who care about senior issues. But here's what's brilliant about his approach. By framing this as a response to administrative failures rather than a new entitlement, he's given Republicans political cover to support it. They're not voting for big government, they're voting to fix broken government. Democrats, meanwhile, are in a bind. They can't exactly oppose higher Social Security payments, but supporting a Republican proposal this bold could undermine their own messaging about being the party that protects seniors. The timing couldn't be more strategic. With President Trump's second-term agenda focused on delivering concrete wins for his base, a Social Security expansion fits perfectly. It's the kind of populist policy that defies traditional left-right categories and could become a signature achievement of the administration. What's particularly clever is how Vance has structured the proposal to create maximum political pressure. By connecting it directly to processing delays that affect people right now, he's made opposition look heartless. Who's going to stand up and argue that seniors should continue waiting months for decisions while living in poverty? The proposal also puts pressure on Democratic governors and mayors in swing states. If federal Social Security payments increase to $4,000 monthly, state and local governments would see massive reductions in demand for emergency services, housing assistance, and health care programs. Democratic officials would have to credit a Republican proposal for improving conditions in their jurisdictions. So let's recap what we've learned here. J.D. Vance isn't just complaining about Social Security delays. He's using them as a launching pad for the most ambitious expansion of the program in its 90-year history. His $4,000 monthly payment proposal would more than double current benefits, potentially lifting millions of seniors out of poverty while addressing the processing crisis that's left millions in limbo. The proposal faces enormous practical and political challenges, but Vance has done his homework. He's got the data, the coalition-building strategy, and the political timing to give this a real shot. Whether it succeeds or fails, this proposal is going to reshape the entire conversation about Social Security and retirement security in America. This matters for every single American, regardless of age, because it represents a fundamental choice about what kind of country we want to be. Do we continue accepting a system where seniors choose between food and medicine while bureaucrats shuffle paperwork? Or do we finally build a Social Security system that actually provides security? If this analysis opened your eyes to something new, hit that like button to help more people see this story. The mainstream media is barely covering the deeper implications of Vance's proposal, so your engagement helps ensure these important conversations reach a wider audience. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on because this story is developing rapidly, and I'll be tracking every twist and turn. I've got sources inside both parties who are keeping me updated on the behind-the-scenes negotiations and strategy discussions. And definitely check out my previous video on Social Security's hidden crisis. I'll link it in the description below. It provides crucial context for understanding why Vance's proposal is resonating with so many people across party lines. Finally, share this video with anyone in your family who might be affected by Social Security delays or who's worried about retirement security. This is exactly the kind of issue that affects real families, and the more people who understand what's at stake, the better chance we have of getting real solutions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll be diving into the Democratic response to Vance's proposal. And trust me, it's not what you'd expect.